Nervous fingers tightened around the small hand holding hers. Lena inhaled sharply, letting the cool filtered air of Sky District settle her pounding heartbeat. The city below shimmered like a galaxy turned upside down, roads glowing with neon veins, anti-grav rail lines slicing through air, chrome towers rising like silver spears into the clouds. Buildings floated lazily at different heights, tethered to invisible sky anchors. She could see tiny drones zipping by like silver insects. Everything here smelled expensive, untouchable, perfect. And she felt painfully out of place in her worn coat and budget boots that had seen too many rainy markets and too many mornings racing to daycare. Arlo clutched a stuffed star plush to his chest, his eyes wide and curious as he stared at the levitating koi fish in the fountain below. The fish glided lazily above water instead of in it, each shimmering with bio-light, casting playful glows across Arlo's cheeks. Lena smiled weakly at him. "Remember, baby, be good, okay?" Quiet voice. "Mama just needs to talk." Arlo nodded, but his gaze was too curious, too bright. He was only 5, but sometimes he looked at the world like it held secret codes only he could read. Lena felt guilt coil in her stomach. She shouldn't have brought him. This wasn't a park or a cafe. This was Celestial, the most exclusive sky restaurant in Neo Eden City. She had only seen it in news feeds and fashion blogs. Movie stars and tech royalty dined here, not single moms working double shifts in a repair clinic. But she had no one to leave Arlo with. Her one neighbor was sick, and the daycare closed early. And she couldn't cancel. She needed this. She didn't even know why she said yes to the message. A private invitation. No photo. Just a name and a time. Aiden Valtor. Her heart fluttered at the memory. Even saying his name felt like touching something electric. Stories swirled about him. The youngest tech CEO in history. Creator of the neural quantum interface that changed the world. Billionaire. Untouchable. Cold. Some people swore he wasn't fully human, his mind too advanced, his presence too strange. And now she was here, stepping into his world on trembling legs. The host, a graceful woman in a silver gown, smiled politely, though her eyes flicked to Arlo with confusion. Reservation. Aiden Valtor. The hostess blinked, struck. Respect fell across her face like a curtain lowering. Of course. He is waiting. They were led through floating walkways where tables hovered above misty blue light. Wealthy couples sipped sparkling crystal drinks. Dresses shimmered like stardust. Laughter floated like perfume. Lena squeezed Arlo's hand tighter. She could feel eyes on them. Her clothes, her son, her existence. She straightened her back. She wasn't ashamed of Arlo. She wasn't ashamed of surviving. But this place made her small. Then she saw him. A solitary figure at a corner sky table suspended above a cloud pool. Black suit cut like night itself. His hair dark as obsidian. Shoulders broad, posture effortlessly controlled. Sharp jawline, pale skin that almost glowed. He looked carved from stillness and moonlight, unmoving, except his eyes. His eyes, silver, not gray, not blue. Silver like living metal, swirling with a quiet storm. He was studying her before she even reached the table. Not judging, not surprised, analyzing, like she was a puzzle. Lena swallowed, her throat dry as dust. "Mr. Valtor," she whispered, hoping she sounded more confident than she felt. Those strange eyes lowered to Arlo's tiny hand in hers. Then to Arlo's face. The child blinked up at him, then lifted his plush star as if offering it as greeting. Lena's voice trembled. I brought my son, is that okay?" Her cheeks burned. "I didn't have anyone to watch him and I didn't want to cancel last minute." Silence stretched. Not cruel, but heavy, charged. Aiden's jaw tensed once, a subtle flicker of some emotion she couldn't name. It wasn't irritation. It was something stranger. Recognition. Calculation. A flicker of shock. His gaze locked on Arlo like the boy wasn't a child but a cosmic anomaly only he could perceive. Arlo stared right back, unblinking, curious. Then he tilted his head, just slightly, in the same peculiar way Aiden had moments before. As if two invisible mirrors reflected each other. Lena's breath hitched. "If this is a problem, we can go." "I understand." Aiden's voice, when it came, was soft yet unexpected, like ice warmed by flame. "No, he may stay." The hostess subtly exhaled relief and drifted away. Lena let out breath she didn't realize she held. She sat, placing Arlo beside her. Aiden didn't break his gaze from the child. What is his name? His tone was quiet, almost reverent. Arlo, she whispered, brushing the boy's hair gently. He's 5. Arlo leaned forward, touching the holographic menu hovering in front of them. But instead of scrolling like normal, the display twisted, rippled, and reshaped itself. Symbols shifting into constellations, swirling patterns of stars and galaxies forming under his fingertips. The digital interface morphed into something impossible, alive, reacting not to touch, but to thought. Lena gasped softly, Arlo, baby, don't. Aiden raised one hand, gentle, stopping her. His eyes flared brighter, silver swirling like nebulae. Arlo giggled, delighted, and the constellations rearranged, forming a shape. A figure. 2 figures, tiny and glowing. A tall one holding the hand of a small one. Aiden froze. The air around the table shifted, like pressure changing before a storm. He wasn't breathing. Or if he was, it was shallow, sharp. That shouldn't be possible, he murmured, voice low, almost to himself. Not without training. Not at his age. Lena blinked, confusion washing over her. Training? What are you talking about? Her voice wavered. Sometimes he does strange things with tech. I thought it was just glitches. Or imagination. No, Aiden whispered. It is not imagination. Arlo smiled at him, a soft innocent smile. The swirling lights responded, orbiting above his palm like tiny planets. Aiden looked at the child not like a man looking at a boy, but like a being looking at a comet, a star, an omen. And then slowly, with something almost like awe in his voice, he leaned closer and said, he is like me. Lena's heart plummeted. Like you, she breathed. What are you? Aiden didn't look away from Arlo. Not what, he whispered. What we are. She felt a tremor run through her bones. Suddenly the world outside didn't seem so bright. The hum of floating engines sounded like warning sirens. The silver in his eyes seemed ancient, alien, powerful. This wasn't a blind date. It was an intersection of fate, or danger. Aiden's gaze finally lifted to hers, and for the first time she saw emotion flicker beneath the silence. I invited you here for a reason, Lena, he said quietly. And now everything is changing. Arlo giggled again, unaware, the stars dancing above his fingers like they belonged to him. And Aiden Valtor, untouchable, feared billionaire, watched the child with something new in his expression. Arlo's laughter echoed softly between the floating tables, the tiny glowing constellations still spinning gently in the air above his palm. The world around them continued pretending to be normal, silver forks tapping glass plates, drones gliding with champagne bottles, elegant couples whispering behind jeweled masks of politeness, but Lena felt everything tilt. As if gravity itself hesitated, not sure which direction to pull anymore. She kept her hands folded tightly in her lap, knuckles pale, her heart pounding too fast. Her son leaned closer to the shimmering lights, humming under his breath. He had never created something alive like that before. Not with such control, not with such magic. Power. She didn't even have the right word. Aiden Valtor remained impossibly still, yet every inch of him radiated tension, like a blade suspended in air just before falling. How long? He asked quietly, eyes never leaving Arlo. Has he been doing things like this? Lena swallowed, the truth crawling up her throat like a confession. Little things. Since he was maybe 3. Technology reacts to him sometimes. Screens glitch, lights flicker, doors unlock. I thought it was coincidence. Or just childhood imagination. Aiden's gaze flicked to her, silver eyes sharpened like starlight turned to edge. Coincidence doesn't rewrite digital architecture into celestial patterns. Her stomach twisted. Please don't talk about him like he's a machine. He is not. Aiden's voice softened, but the intensity did not fade. He is extraordinary. Extraordinary. The word should have sounded beautiful, but fear curled around it like smoke. Arlo poked a floating hollow star, giggled when it burst into a swirl of cosmic dust. A server passing by dropped a tray. Glass shattered and heads turned, startled. Arlo froze, startled by the noise, and the stars dissolved into harmless pixel rain. The world resumed breathing again. Aiden leaned forward slightly, lowering his voice. Has he ever harmed anything? Or anyone? Never. Lena bristled, instinct rising like armor. He's just a child. A sweet, gentle. A hollow screen by the bar flickered violently, static cutting across advertisements. Arlo blinked, then looked down, hiding behind her arm. And when he feels threatened, Aiden pressed gently. Lena shut her eyes. She remembered the daycare incident. Lights exploding, security drones crashing to the floor. They'd banned him but never explained why. She'd begged them not to report it. She didn't know who she was afraid of, only that fear followed her like a shadow she couldn't name. He's scared of himself sometimes, she whispered. He doesn't understand what he is. Neither do I. Aiden exhaled slowly. I do. The statement hung between them like a door opening to something she hadn't asked to enter. Lena looked at him fully now, really looked. His stillness wasn't coldness, it was suppression. Like someone who carried storms and learned not to breathe too deeply, because hurricanes lived in his lungs. Aiden, she murmured, her voice trembling despite her will, what are you? His fingers brushed the table surface. The glass beneath his touch rippled as if it were liquid starlight. Light bent around him for a moment, reality folding like a secret being reminded of its shape. I am what your son is, he said, voice low. A hybrid, she echoed, frowning. Half human, half, what, not alien. His lips pressed together. Not exactly, not in the way your myths imagine. But close enough. The city lights stretched endlessly beneath them like a second sky. Lena felt very small, very fragile. So you're saying my child isn't fully human? No. Aiden's eyes softened, strangely tender. He is human, but he is also more. More. Power disguised as innocence sat beside her, swinging his feet under a chair too expensive for them to even breathe near. A little boy who didn't know he was holding thunder under his skin. Why us? She whispered, pain leaking into her voice. We're nobody. I work on power converters for delivery bots. We barely afford rent. I don't understand how my son could be part of anything larger. Aiden's expression changed, just barely. Something like surprise. Something like recognition again. It is not your bloodline that matters, he said quietly. It is your heart. That made no sense, and yet, her chest ached. Tears pricked behind her eyes. Arlo tugged her sleeve. Mama, look, he pointed toward the window. A flock of nanodrones streaked by, moving too fast, formation too tight, like military flight patterns. His brows knitted in childish worry. They feel loud inside my head. Aiden's posture sharpened instantly. He scanned the city with a gaze too precise to be human. They are scanning, he murmured. Someone detected his pulse. Pulse, Lena demanded. Not heartbeat. Energy signature. She felt dizzy. Someone is looking for him. Aiden's jaw set. For us. Arlo whimpered, shrinking into her. Lena wrapped her arms around him protectively. Mother first. Always mother. No matter how cosmic the threat. You said he's like you. So what do you do when they come looking? Aiden slowly rose from his seat. The air around him shifted, gravity obeying something deeper, older. I protect my own. Fear cut her breath. But we're not your. Arlo stood too, tugging her hand. Mama, I don't like the people outside. Aiden's gaze softened at the child's voice, and in that moment Lena knew, whatever else he was, monster or miracle, alien or angel, he cared. He recognized something in Arlo he couldn't walk away from. I didn't bring you here for a date, Aiden admitted quietly. I brought you here because I felt him. Like a signal, like a star calling another star. That isn't comforting, Lena whispered, shaking. Arlo reached out, tiny palm pressing Aiden's wrist. A strange ripple of light passed between them, just for a heartbeat, like two circuits completing. Aiden inhaled sharply, as if the contact pulsed through him like a forgotten memory. His voice softened in a way Lena didn't expect. I will not let them take him. Are you? A loud hum vibrated through the glass floor. The skyline shifted. Drones breaking formation, descending like hunting hawks. Aiden looked at her with a calm sharper than fear. We need to leave. Now. Lena's breath caught. Where? My world, he said simply. Or the closest thing this planet has to it. Cold fear slid down her spine. She didn't understand. She wasn't ready. She was just a mother trying to survive. But Arlo squeezed her hand. Mama, he whispered, eyes wide like stars, I think he's telling the truth. And somehow, impossibly, Lena believed him. Not because she understood, but because the alternative was losing the little boy beside her. And nothing in the universe frightened her more than that. Aiden extended his hand. Not demanding, but offering. You came here asking if bringing your son was okay, he said softly. It turns out, it may have saved all of us. Outside, military drones locked in. The world above Neo Eden trembled.